Man, what's up with y'all out there, man? I done been on a little hiatus, and I had to, kind of get my mind right a little bit. I've been sitting back listening to these conversations, man, and and for real, I'm gonna start off on a positive note because this particular week that we didn't have in our Discord, man. If y'all ain't in the Discord by now, y'all just kind of slacking. Cause man, we didn't have so much fun over the last couple of days just having these conversations. It's been a real good back and forth about some interesting topics. Just keeping it real. This is like the I feel like the best we've actually experienced it. Like for real, for real. New topic. You know what I'm saying? Like new ideas, and even kind of even meeting some new people on some old ideas. Right? Like this particular week has been pretty much as good as it gets. So I don't know if Hits is out there, but if somebody's watching that could drop that link, I know it'll actually be. And if not, I'll put it in the description after the thing so people can be able to click on it. But this week, man, you got to join our Discord. It's been going down. So it's been a lot of fun. That's kind of like even what sparked, me really wanting to go live, just how much fun it's been having. And I had a really good conversation with one of our Discord members named Mujasi. Man, shout out to him because he's actually, one of somebody who brings a lot of balance to these conversations. Because even when he has a position that I may not necessarily agree with, like the way he delivers his position is definitely like is always super respectable and is very clear on what he's saying, which is always really good, right? Because you don't have to kind of like sift through a lot of unnecessary stuff to kind of get to what he's saying. So, um, and that was kind of, I think, the end of a long journey for me, uh, because I've kind of sort of been labeled like a person who doesn't really take history serious um, in this community, and I find that pretty strange because I've also been adamant about I think history is important too, right? So like I've said in the description, I wanted to walk us through how I actually found my position, and why I feel like the position was. I think I wore this on purpose, right? Nah, y'all ain't gonna be able to see that. Man, don't worry about that. So, but I found this position because I actually was observing how people took history in this community and tried to shape a particular narrative with it, right? Like they were trying to 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 use history as this end all be all to creating future goals for the black community. Um, and of course that if once you start to create some goals for even yourself, you're going to involve some history, right? You're going to involve hopefully someone else's trial and error period on how they were able to maybe make, and you'll be able to make less mistakes or kind of picked up where other people have left off in their journey. So of course history is going to play a role in any sort of planning that you do, but it was it was clear that what he was saying couldn't have been what I'm not saying this whole time, right? Even though this is sort of like the best answer I've heard in the community, I was almost assuming that nobody would think that I'm not including relevant information when it comes to history. But even though he has this point now, right? My fear was always that people get so hung up on this narrative that we get from these elders in this community. I even hate saying it like that because it almost sounds like I'm not talking about reality, as if this kind of like plays by some other type of rules. But just try to follow with me if y'all know what I'm talking about. But But yeah, so the way people do it, I think they kind of like dilute the whole process. I don't think that you allow yourself to really get serious about making plans if you got to get all bogged down by a particular group's history and you can't look at the big picture and all these kind of things that you might be able to draw inspiration from or learn things from. If you exclude any of that thing, then you would, you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to make a plan, or to even succeed for that matter. So if you're taking it serious, it's not necessarily about whose history it is, which was always my point. Right? You'll never find, um, you'll never get to the actual most optimum way to do something while excluding as many things as possible. You got to be including it, right? It's not just about necessarily our history. But I found myself having a conversation that wasn't centered around that. So we came up with an example, one day, and the example was about black farmers in modern day, and the scenario was, which would be more important to this black farmer, if it would be um, obtaining seeds for this upcoming harvest season, or actually having the history of particular court cases that involved him being disenfranchised in the first place. Right. So my argument was that if even if he had this information, that still wouldn't change the fact that he needed seeds, right? And if he needed seeds, most likely he's going to have to go through, these other institutions that may or may not have played a role in his predicament, being disenfranchised. But my point was that without those seeds, that knowledge didn't really do him much good. And his point was that with the seeds and the knowledge, he could possibly do what he was doing better. And I didn't disagree. Seems to makes pretty good sense to me. That him having some history might direct his actions in a particular direction that could be more beneficial to him succeeding. Certainly not something I'm trying to fight there, but shout out to Mujasi again, man. I think that he nailed it, man. I think with his example of the black farmer being able to take advantage of the history along with needing the seeds, I think he makes a pretty fair point. But if that's the sort of history that you're talking about, I think that you at least give yourself an opportunity to exclude unnecessary jargon from your history, right? And I'm trying to segue into a separate conversation that we've been kind of stuck on Dr. Francis Cress Welsing here, right? I'm sure that uh, in the big picture, hopefully, we're not talking about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing information being useful to those black farmers, right? Because that's a whole nother topic. Even though nobody put it together quite like that, I think using that scenario helps you kind of see how much of our history would be important in a scenario where a person needs food. And, yes, she's a part of our history, but how necessary is that to make this next generation come here? So follow what I'm saying. So we're back to Francis Cress Wilson. Unc, and specifically, Unc has been on a tear, not defending Francis Cress Wilson. He say he ain't defending her, but at the same time, every time that we try to simply speak the truth on the situation, get a lot of backlash. A lot of backlash from him. Sosa giving a lot of backlash. And actually, I respect where they're coming from. I get it. I get why they're fighting, but I don't get why they ain't just telling me that they fighting because the lady black. Now, Unc gonna say, I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say that he's not saying that. Now, I'm gonna simply repeat that I'm talking about the lady's work, and then he's going to say, well, he don't have a problem with me critiquing the work. But then he's gonna go into that the lady experienced brutality in her lifetime, which she did, along with a lot of African Americans in that time period of America. And he goes completely into this diatribe about how psychologically steering that would have been to some other conclusions that she may have later on, right? But nobody disagreeing with that. Nobody's disagreeing that they had racism in her lifetime while she was in the United States. Nobody's fighting that at all. At all, right? What we're saying, at least definitely what I'm saying for sure, is that the lady went to school. The lady went to the place where you would send someone to become educated enough to not be saying the things that she was saying, right? And not to mention that some of the things that she was saying were racially charged, right? Like it does seem that we are having a problem, at least admitting that what the lady is saying is complete racism. Now, unless we done got to the point where we're just openly justifying racism, and unless that's what we're saying, I don't know what is wrong with like critiquing what this lady is saying in the way that we're critiquing it. Like we should be 100% right. That the lady is saying something racist. Like that shouldn't be something difficult for us to agree on. That shouldn't be a point of contention, but some kind of way that it is. Right? So like some kind of way everybody is saying something but not saying it at the same time. It's the strangest thing. It's the strangest thing. But shout out to everybody in the conversation, man. It's been so much fun, man. I gotta keep it real with you. It's been a lot of fun. Haskell, it's been fun, bro. Sosa, it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun. If let me see if I can find this Discord link. I want to drop that in there before I get up off here today, because I just wanted to take a couple minutes and be able to just say what it is I'm trying to say out loud, unimpeded, which has been difficult because we didn't have so many good voices. But that's a good problem, man. I've been enjoying it. We didn't got some new people to come and get involved in the convo. So it's been like fire. It's been up in the chat. For real. Let me drop this thing. They up in there talking stuff right now. I'm gonna drop the link to our Discord. Man, hopefully we can get some more members to come in there, come join the conversation, because we're gonna continue to drop those lives. We're actually doing a lot of things in the background, trying to expand and make some more content for you guys. We're gonna have a lot more faces coming through, and it's been super exciting, man. This is, like I say, this has been a super fun week. I want to get everybody kind of like in on the action, man. This is a good time to come mess with this Tribe Media thing. Let me drop this in there. I'm gonna roll some of these commercials and get up out of here, guys. Boom, it's in the chat. How come through, holler at your boy. My media stuff at. So I know it's been long. This stuff look different here.
Gotta hit it like tap it in the zone. Share it with the world, make the vibe known. Subscribe to the beat, feel it in your phone. Catch the waves we throw, you ain't alone. Like, share, and subscribe. keep the rhythm alive, we thrive. Hop on this digital ride. Let's multiply the vibe worldwide.
Trey Media Records.
This is my story. Get the story.
On your ID, you see me calling nigga. Out of his league, a workaholic nigga. Nickname, Big Game, big thing. Handle his business, he never switched lanes. Had some brain surgeries in high school. Still came out that bitch a top dude. Moved to the city of the Mavericks. Came out this bitch dropping classes.